Hey guys, and welcome back to Stoneharth. If you missed the first episode, it should be in the playlist. But this is Stoneharth, one game that'll be getting added to the roster of games that I attempt to play and put up on YouTube. But this is the Blades of Hope. In the last episode, we saw them get settled in with clearing out their initial area, setting up a small farm, and building our first building, as sleeping quarters to allow them to sleep in, because they're probably getting tired of sleeping on the roofs and on the ground. I like how he fell asleep on the roof. He's like, I don't sleep on the ground, I sleep on the roof. One thing you can do, and some people might say that it's better to do this, you can always set down the beds outside and tell your guy to build some beds outside. I don't feel like it's necessary to do that. I feel like it's more important for them to get a building than to actually get just settled. So this is the seller. He comes in, he shows up there once in a while and wants to buy stuff from us. I'll usually go in, sell 10 of my lamps, since I'm telling my guy to keep 10 lamps around. And then I'll take a look and see if there's anything we want. Sometimes I'll buy some of this stuff. Hunks of stone are usually useful. Tin, iron, copper. This is usually where I get most of my metal from. I don't normally buy the stone working since that's my chisel guy. But normally I'd buy the stone. I'm actually going to go ahead and buy 10 stone off of him. It probably wasn't 10 stone. I probably wasn't paying attention and didn't have enough money for that. But we'll find out later. I'm going to go ahead and sell off the rest of those lamps, make the guy work a little extra. But we're also going to put this. We got a little bit of gold, but we'll see what happens. Now they're going to go ahead and gather. He's going to go ahead and gather the stuff up. Place it all into our inventory. As you can see, the farmer is gathering. The worker, the swordsman, if we go into here, we'll notice the swordsman can do hauling, but he cannot build or mine. Same with the farmer, and the carpenter can mine. He can haul, build, and job, but he cannot mine. Job means they do whatever task they have. As you can see, this guy, he's a little different. We're gonna check him out. He's merry about his current situation. He slept on the ground, which is making him happy. He's hungry, which is making him happy. His meal was raw, which is making him happy. But he's got the pioneer spirit. Ate a tasty meal and had a great talk. As we can see, it is moving up and down based on the situation, but that is something you have to start monitoring when you're playing this game now. Which is kind of odd, because originally I didn't have to deal with that. When I first played this game, I was not playing in the mode where you had to deal with that. It wasn't until recently did they add that in. But what we are going to start doing, which I normally start doing this about now, I'm going to start ordering them to start mining up here. And the reason for that is I want to make a stairway up to that area that I can walk up there. Why? So I can get these trees and so I can mine up here. The deeper you mine into the mountains, the better supplies you're going to get. You're going to get more stone, you're going to get more ore, but you're also going to have more area to work with. And I find building stairs is easier if you start by building a ladder up to the area and then working your way down. I wish there was a way to tell them to build the stairs to go from here to here, and they would work on building the stairs themselves, but so far I have not found out if there's a way to do that or if there's a way to do a custom design. Eventually we will do custom designs for the houses because I found that those are useful, but right now we don't need any custom designs, so we're not. What I can do is I can start doing something like this, where I order them to mine a little deeper. To dig greedily and deeply. Not to do deeply or too greedily, I hope. But we see, we work our way towards that area. Also, for those of you who might have left comments or something in the last video, I'm recording this right after the last video, so I'm planning on doing this in sets of at least 2, maybe 3, so won't be able to see your comments until the next video. Sorry. I do eventually plan on doing buildings and stuff. One of the reasons I picked this was so I could kind of like wall this section in and have a defense. Because you do eventually have to fight against bad guys. Part of the storyline is actually fighting against bad guys. There is a moderate storyline to this, as far as I know. I don't actually know all the storyline of this game. As I said, it was not as advanced. It wasn't as far along when I last played it. I did play a little bit of it. If you saw in the first episode when I was making a new world, I had Stoneharth as a city. That wasn't my first village, but that was my first attempt back into the game. I wanted to figure out if I could still play. Still working, almost finished. You gotta put up the last of the wooden lanterns, put up the mean beds, and put up the wooden doors. If you click on the mean bed, you'll notice that it says mean as in poor, not mean as in evil. So we say accept, and a new person joins our village. 6 body, 1 spirit, and 1 mind. This guy is literally going to be useless. Now the way that body and mind work, I'll tell you that in a second. Charismatic. He's probably going to just end up being another useless. He's probably going to end up being useful, but I don't know how. Body means they're good at fighting. It means they have a lot of health. Spirit means they have a lot of courage and willpower. And mind means that they learn their jobs better. Now, if you make me 5 wooden doors, I'll be back in 1 day, and I might be able to get you 1 plush toy rabbit. Decline. I don't agree with that because that is not a good trade. Back to mining. I'm hoping that this was long enough. It might have been too long. But this could always be the upper section of my city. There used to be some ways you could block the enemies by just placing 1 block of material somewhere on the map, and it would block enemies for some reason, like it kept them from spawning. But I don't know how that works, so we're not going to be able to do that. I'm also not one for using glitches like that. Normally, if I know of a glitch and I want to exploit it, normally I'll do it by normally I'll only exploit it when I'm off camera. Okay, so this is our first problem. Not really a problem. These are stone golems. They're relatively strong, but they don't have enough. They're not really that strong. Eventually they can become a problem, but with our guy being of such high strength and body, he'll be fine. Take that off, they can go back to work. Okay, so as we can see, they drop some rocks. I can tell my people to loot that. I'll pick up the rocks and run back to town with them. Right now they're all kind of like, I don't know what to do. What are they doing? I don't know if they glitched out or what's going on. I don't know why they won't gather this stuff. Oh, they're all eating. Sometimes when they get around to the time that they start eating, they start acting funny. I don't know why. I don't know why they're not working though. Maybe it's chillaxing time. Maybe they don't want to work. I don't know. There they go. I don't know why they weren't doing that before. Hope I didn't mess this up somehow. Yeah, it's gonna be far too short. Having conversation. They talk to each other as they work. I hope that doesn't bother anybody. If it does, I do apologize. It's not like I'm gonna fill it back in. If it does bother you, sorry. Didn't mean to. Maybe having it built in back there will let me put a gate in, and maybe that can be like the upper district. You could always say I did it on purpose. But that was my plan the entire time. Make myself look better than I actually am. Not that important to me. Almost done. Soon they'll be able to, now they can walk up there freely. And that's another issue, is that we've ran out of storage space. I'm gonna go ahead and tell them to create another storage space. I'm button. I'm pressing all sorts of buttons trying to do something. Which, I don't know what's going on. Are you guys done? Just, no, they haven't placed this stuff. Maybe they couldn't place the beds, and maybe that's what was making them upset. I don't know. We need to eventually make a dining hall. Which, the best way you can look at this is be like, okay, there's 10 chairs, so 10 of them can eat there. So 2 more people than what I have right now. Daily updates. Our wealth is still not high enough. Don't fret over that. Unless you're min-maxing, you're probably not going to get very fast. You can also mine tunnels. Oh, you can go like this. So you build a mine of like areas into the wall. And this is another reason why you want to tell him to work, because he can eventually make stuff. As far as buying, I don't think we're going to buy anything. No. No. These are the other golems that you'll fight in the These are wooden golems. They usually spawn more. There's usually more of them because they're weaker. You guys are relatively easy to kill. Good for upgrading your footmen. But that also means that I'm probably needing to look at upgrading my herbalist to being it's not a herbalist, which this guy's not. Yeah, he's gonna be hungry. Oh no, it's because we don't have the herbs. I wonder if I have my character, does my farmer yet have the ability to become to plant herbs? No. I'm gonna tell him to plow that section for when we do. And as far as down here. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna tell them to harvest wood down here. This will force them down into this section. And we can tell them to harvest all the wood down here. They can't get to it though, so they'll complain, but that'll be fun. There we go. Now, one person might say you could just do ladders, which is always a possibility. I like finding if that's going to be what you're going to do, I like finding a flat section. Now they can go ahead and start chopping all that. Okay. Another thing you want to do is once your carpenter gets to the right level, start making storage crates. I'm going to tell him to maintain at least 5 and make that the priority. Which he normally will do well at. They do a lot of talking to each other. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and build this right here. And then I'm going to, and one of these guys is eventually going to go grab the chest. Or the crate, or whatever it is. I really don't know. He goes, places the crate down, it gets bigger. I'm going to tell them none, and then I'm going to say, put wood in. And I'm going to come over to these, and I'm going to be like, you're not allowed to have wood. You're not allowed to have wood. These will force them to move all the wood into that chest. Which will open up our stockpile a bit more. Maybe that'll tell them to actually work on it. Or maybe I gotta turn them, maybe I do what I did last time. If you go on to here, you tell them to turn off different jobs. Basically what I do is I tell my guys who are, when I have this issue where they're not doing what I want them to be doing, I tell them they can't do hauling. Basically what that'll force them to do the jobs I want them to do. Because if they don't, then they're not going to be doing anything. And if they're idling constantly and they have a job to do, that means something. I don't know why this breaks like this every once in a while. It's rare, but what it might have been is that the person sleeping up there might have caused the issue. Or it might have been this piece of wood. Yes. Alright, fine. They're obviously not being. Something's got them all buggered up. I wonder if the beds are not, like, registering. Do me a favor. As far as beds go, into constant. And then as far as these beds go, paint. 4 constant. And I think that'll be good. Marketplace, a bunch of different. These are always really nice. Eventually I'll start working on building these and putting stores and stuff. That's at least what I want to do. You are mine 6, body 1 and 5. You'd like being alone. Sounds like a mason to me. So, the mason, just like the carpenter, he becomes his job. I'm wondering if maybe these are broken. I'm telling him, so I'm going to sell all off and see if that fixes it. Mason, craft 1 of these. And then I want you to maintain. I want you to maintain 5 of these. And 5 of these. like I said before, these are mostly just so he can upgrade. Then I want you to make 1 cook spoon. 1. No, not a potter's chisel. You don't want a pot. You don't need a potter's chisel. 1 blacksmith. Close. All right. So now that I'm done doing that, he got his workbench done. Good. I'm going to go ahead and tell him to put down his workbench. You're gonna change your job. You should become a farmer. Now, one thing you can do, and I suggest start doing this as soon as possible, especially in my situation, is you can move the which I would start moving them right off the bat because of how far. But I'm going to start moving them right off the bat because of how far they are. And there's no cost in moving them, just time and effort. You gotta click on each one individually. Awesome. He's become a farmer and he's fallen way off with this. If this doesn't fix soon, I might have to restart the whole save, and if that's the case, I might just rip the whole game. I may just not upload these at all. So if I just do that, you guys can see this thing. Okay. Craft this wooden door. Craft us. Oh, you're making wooden lanterns. Craft us 4 beds. Oh, you need to do it that way. Not done. Or 4 of these. Top of the list. A priority. Okay, so that's what happens. Now we're gonna wait and see if they gather all the stuff. Then we're gonna wait and we're gonna have them gather all the stuff back up and try. Because something wasn't right. They'll eventually pull it all back into the stockpiles. I think they're also having the issue of space in there. So, place. Eventually, you could just go ahead and give them cottages. They are sleeping on the ground so much they don't feel like, since they like sleeping on the ground, so gotta do that. But I seem to have gone over my time by quite a bit. Seem like. I do apologize for that if anybody is terribly upset by it. It might happen every once in a while. This game's kind of moderately lost. In the next episode, our new herbalist we talked about, as I'll most likely be recording it next, doing myself. But once we've created the herbalist, you'll see what that's like. But until the next episode, have a good time. Bye.